Hello everybody, good evening and welcome to That's Football for our second semi-final of this World Cup. It's almost over. I say that like I want it to be over, but that's not necessarily the case. It could have been England. It should have been England. It shouldn't have been England. We didn't win. France did. They deserved it. It's France against Morocco. France to win the World Cup, says Julian, I think it is. I think France are the best team I've seen in this tournament, across the tournament. England gave them a good game, but across the tournament, France have been the best team. They played the best football. I've been very impressed with Griezmann, Giroud, Dembele. Obviously, Mbappe gets the headlines, but I think they've been fantastic, Giroud, Dembele and Griezmann. And they're still showing back the highlights of England. Like, what a bunch of begs they are on BBC. They're still trying to show England as should have won. We're out, baby. We're out. Morocco playing with the back five. You can see I've got a very exciting reveal for you as well. But you're looking younger. I've had a shave. That's what it is. Imagine if I was clean shaven. I've still got a bit of stubble. But yes, we are good to go here. Hope you're all doing well. By the way, I think the Morocco bubble will burst. I mean, it's a prediction. I don't really want to be wrong on it because I think Morocco have done well. But as I said last night, the underdog story for me has run its course. I do like an underdog. I do like a shock, but I've seen Greece win it, and it's not pretty. And I think that it's time. It's time. It's time for France to knock them out, and I think they will. But Morocco, fantastic defensively. You can't dispute that. And if you do, you're a fool. But I'm going to do a little bit of a poll. Who wins? I don't know why caps lock is on. Who wins? France, Morocco. Our first poll of the day. And let's go through the team news, which is going round for you anyway on the screen, but I'll read it out anyway. So Lloris, Koundé, Varane, Konate, Hernandez. So no Upamecano. I don't know whether that's for injury or not. I didn't think Upamecano played that well the other night. And no Rabiot either. Tchouaméni, Fofana, Dembele, Griezmann, Mbappe, Giroud. Talk to me. Rabiot and Upamecano is on the bench, but Rabiot isn't on the bench. So was he suspended? Is he injured? Bono in goal for Morocco. Hakimi, Al-Yamik, Agard, Seyes and Mazrou. Ziyech, Unahi, Amrabat, Buffel, and then Ennisi up front. Bono's a good goalkeeper, Bono. He is. But both out with illness, Upamecano and Rabiot. So Upamecano's sick, Rabiot is injured or sick. He's injured or sick. One of the two. But so Fofana comes in and Konate comes in. Well, I wasn't massively impressed with Upamecano against England anyway. So I think at the end of the day, it might work in France's favour. They've still got Varane. He'd be a massive loss, of course. But players are coming out onto the pitch now. Ball got off. What's just going on? What's going on there? That's not. I don't want that to happen. Don't do that. Get me back. There we go. It's loading up now. 6-0 to France, says CJW. 61% of you going with France. There was a lot more confidence about Morocco last night, I'll say that. I don't know where that confidence has gone now. Can I just say this as well? Show sponsored by Wash and Go. And it's the first time ever I can hold it up and you can see it because the green screen can't get rid of it. Wash and Go, 2-in-1, strong, healthy hair, delivered to your door. Links in the video description. I also did an advert with Wash and Go for this tournament, which you can watch through the link in the description as well. But I use this every day. 2-in-1, shampoo and conditioner. Fantastic. Wash and Go. Finally getting their moment where we can actually see the bottle. We only ever used to see the blue bit. Now we can see the green bit. Absolutely brilliant. So check out Wash and Go and check out the advert I did. Lots of behind the scenes stuff as well. Had a bit of a clash with the director, Rufus, whatever his name is. Check it out. Big shout out to Wash and Go. Thanks for sponsoring the stream. Big up Wash and Go. Links in the description, delivered to your door. Actually, I got some delivered to my door the other day, and I did get it off Amazon. They probably would have sent it me for free if I'd asked, but I got some from Amazon because I'd run out. And it came in a big, I think it was a 10-pack, so that'll keep me going for about a year or two. So very good, very reasonably priced as well. Thanks to Wash and Go. Goldbridge, found your controller yet? Dun 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 dun. Found it. Yeah. Guess what? I also found in the loft. Now, it's not porn. Don't worry. What is that controller? It's a PS2, isn't it, I reckon? It's a DualShock 2. It is a PS2. Now we're talking, because if you were watching United Stand earlier, this is what I found. I found this earlier, looking for my controller, but I couldn't find any cables. I think Pro Evo 2006 is inside. So all I've got to do now is find the cables, and I might be able to play it over Christmas. That'd be great. PS2. Somebody just said it's a PS3 controller. I think it's a PS2 controller. It has to be. Has to be. Fletch says the green screen's moved on and is dating Dua Lipa. Yeah, we fell out. We're like Lennon and McCartney. Or trying to think of other legendary duos that fell out. Liam and Noel. I'm definitely Liam though. Although no, I'm Noel because I'm the creative. So I'm Liam and Noel. They can just be Gallagher. Anyway, it's definitely a PS2, says Andy McManus. Well, I'm going to get that set up. I'm going to have a play. I did find it actually. I'm getting up a lot here. We're just filling time before the start of this game. I found a big pile of stuff, games here. Some people won't be interested in this. Don King Boxing on the Wii. Don't know about that. Book of Spells, that must have come 3 with my PS3. Oh, PS4, FIFA 16. PS3, FIFA 15. PS2, FIFA 12. PS3, FIFA 13. I've got nearly all of them. That's definitely not mine. Definitely not mine. And neither's that. So somebody likes dancing, but it wasn't me. As if I was doing Just Dance Disney Party or Michael Jackson Dance. No. Beauty and the Beast, Cinderella. Yeah, that's definitely not me. Definitely not me. Definitely not. Anyway, we're about ready to start here, aren't we? I think it's a couple of minutes. Let's get ready to rumble. I've got a story actually. Don't laugh about this. You know, yesterday I was on about I thought my dog was going to come into the room. So on the back kitchen there's a double patio door, and I took the dog out for a toilet break, and as it was coming in, I opened the side patio door, and as it walked past the unopened patio door, it saw Mrs. Goldbridge and got excited. So it went to run in the unopened patio door and jumped into the patio door. Now, don't laugh. Don't laugh. But it literally jumped into a patio door that wasn't open. I do have a 99 player rating. Yeah, you're right. That's a true story. That happened today. Right, let's get ready. Poor thing, says Boz. Yeah, I can't laugh on stream. It would be would get me in trouble with animal rights people, which I just don't want to be in trouble with. The game has kicked off. Let me just sync the timer in. 8, 9, 10. There we go. Yeah, last night I was about 45. You know what? I'm going to put my hands up. Last night is the worst watch along I've ever done in relation to delay. I couldn't get my Sky to work, so I had to use Sky Go on my iPad, which I knew was going to be at least a minute behind. And somehow I managed to do a 90-minute stream with over 10,000 people watching. So I was very proud of that. Mainly down to yourselves, really. RBX, Disney Dancing Bridge, thank you. Trying not to laugh, but poor dog, says Vignesh, it got too excited. To be honest, you know, I was just glad it didn't knock itself out, because as it was coming towards the patio door that was open, it looked through, saw Mrs. Goldbridge, got really excited and went, and ran towards it, leaped in the air to jump over the white bit. Look at the white bit. Went to jump over the white bit into what it thought was thin air, but was actually double glazing glass air. Boom! Shakalak. I just saw its face go like that. It didn't yelp though. I think it saw the funny side. I think it was more embarrassed actually. You know, some dogs are quite weak and they go. It sort of went like that and then sort of carried on, which I thought was and looked a bit embarrassed. Anyway, let's watch the match tonight. Let's watch the match. Get rid of you. There we go. Arrow. Cheerio. And too much Harry Maguire jumping with his eyes closed. This should be a good game. Yeah, so obviously Morocco are going to play very defensive. Some would say anti-football. It is their right. It has served them well so far. France, I mean, what you don't do is what Portugal do. You don't concede first in a game like this. That is exactly what they would want to happen. I unwittingly and surprisingly like France. Don't normally like France in a tournament, but I actually am not biased. I like to watch good football, and I think France have played the sort of football that I would like to play. You know, crosses into the box, wing play, number 10 in behind a traditional number 9, 2 midfielders, you know, mobility in the back 4. I like the way France are set up. I don't as an Englishman, I don't necessarily like France, but you can't argue with good football. And I wouldn't be surprised if Morocco got a result, but there's a good interception here. Very strong, and but they've won it back. Big upset, says Mazza. They play Goldbridge ball. I need to get back doing some Goldbridge ball, actually. Well, I'll be back doing my FIFA career mode tomorrow now. I've got my controller. And Football Manager. Got to get that back ready as well. Play a bit of that over Christmas. Everyone's breaking up soon, aren't they? So, perfect time to get a bit of Football Manager and FIFA career mode back. My eldest broke up tonight. And I think my middle one breaks up tomorrow. Seb's in till Friday. Hardcore, you know. He's at private school. He's only 5. We've invested in him. No, we haven't really. He's not at private school. He's just... they don't break up till Friday. FIFA streams are back tomorrow, Darkest. Thank you very much. I enjoyed the stream last night. Really did. I don't know what it is. I don't know whether it's about... I don't know whether it's the background or just being able to move freely. It's been quite relaxing. Or, actually, I don't think it's anything to do with the background. I think it's the fact that the World Cup's coming to an end. And that might surprise a few people, but Griezmann's in. He's got a bit of space. Lays it back. Oh, Mbappe. Oh, block. Goal, France. 1-0. Hernandez. It's in. And it's the French who take the lead. Voulez-vous coucher avec moi? Ce soir. That's in. They had more hits than the Beatles, and finally he put it into the back of the net. It was blocked, this, that and the other. That's the goal we wanted. Take that, anti-football. That's 1-0 to France already, and it's Hernandez who scores it. Griezmann got into some space, and it opens the game up perfectly. I'll shout out the person in the chat who said 6-0 to France, but you're a goddamn fool if you thought France were going to go the same way as Spain and Portugal. One thing this French team has got is va-va-voom, but it's also got plan A, B, C, and D, and E, and F. Plan France. They have got loads of plans. They've got more plans than a town council planning department. And an early goal, Deschamps is really happy because you concede first against Morocco, well, you don't score. They can take you to extra time and penalties. But this is what happens. This is what happens. I said this would happen. Now, Morocco have got to open up. They've gone with a back five and they're 1-0 down after 5. They've got to open this game up. An early goal's good. And to be honest with you, the early goal to France is better because if Portugal get it, it just becomes even more defensive. But the aggression, Canate that time, we've seen Fofana and Tchouaméni doing it. They're biting into the press. I tell you, France are just so impressive. I mean, funnily enough, their worst game was probably England, but even then, they still knew when to do it, didn't they? You know, France didn't need penalties. Hernandez, the left-back, scored, and I thought he was crap against England as well. But no, the problem that Spain had against Morocco was they had no plan A. People talk about Luis Enrique, but it's like Spain and Barcelona, isn't it? They don't seem to have plan Bs. And if you can deal with plan A, they struggle, and they went out. Portugal, same thing. They didn't have any speed on the wings. They were very predictable. Well, France ain't predictable. They're not predictable. You've got Giroud, an old-fashioned striker who can control it like a magnet. You've got Griezmann, basically a midfielder and an attacker. You've got fullbacks that like to get forwards. You've got 2 holding midfielders that will bite and press. And then you've got 2 wingers that can shoot, dribble, cross. They've got more options than a Thomas Cook package holiday to Disney. It's not looking good, bruv. And France are fiery from the start. Do you think we could have played this team in a semi, says Robert McCormack? Well, the reason we're not playing Morocco in the semi is because I think France are the best team in the world. And I'm not buying into this crap that England were the better side. They lost 2-1. And even if Kane scored the penalty, it's 2-2. I still think France had gears to go in. And I think England gave their best. I don't think England had another gear. I think England played the best they could. I think France could have played better and still won. No, Jake, I agree. I think England were the better team on the day. But that doesn't matter. You don't win for being the better team on the day. Anyway, and I agree with this super chat as well from Tiger Claws. Messi versus Mbappe is what everyone wants to see in the final. Who would you want to win the final? Let's do a poll on that. Who would you want to win the final? If that is the final. I'm going to do a poll. You don't need to start talking about it. I'm not really going to make my mind up yet. I am conflicted because I think for romance, pure romance, Messi winning a World Cup would be something that you look back on. Not just me or you, but just football can look back on for ages. People look at Pelé. That was 1970, and 58. And 62, and they look back on Pelé. Good shot by Morocco there. They're having a go. Good. You see, they've got to come out a little bit now. But yeah, you look at Pelé and World Cups. You look at Maradona, 86 World Cup. Zidane obviously got sent off. That wasn't his World Cup, but 98 played well. It would seem a crime against football if Messi never won a World Cup. You can understand it with Ronaldo. Portugal have never won a World Cup. But yeah, I think for football romance, I'd like Argentina to win it. But for who I think has been the best team in the tournament, I think France are the best team. I think it'd be a very good final. France like to put a tackle in. Real Killers makes a good point. He says, why would anyone want France to win unless you're French? Because maybe people are like me and they just respect football. Maybe they just respect good football. I mean, look, France won the World Cup last time. That's another reason to maybe want Argentina to do it. Casey says, I hate France, but they're so good. You see, I didn't like France in 2018. I didn't want them to win it. I didn't like the way they played. I was dead against it. But I like this French team. Can I just shock you? I like this French team. And, obviously I like Varane because he's a United player, but I like the way they play. Robert McCormack says, to be fair, France's route, bar England, has been so easy. Robert, I wouldn't disagree with you, but it's the way that they've played in those games as well. England's group was easy, and we were crap against USA. I thought we were crap for large portions of Wales. First half against Senegal for about half an hour. I think what was France's group? Australia, Denmark, who weren't that good. I forget who else was in their group. Was it Cameroon? I can't remember. I think I want France to win it now. Nick P says, sorry to say, but I find the whole let's win it for Messi nauseating and the commentator lovings. Well, there are a few people. I don't think it's anti-Messi. I think it's almost feels like this World Cup's been manufactured for Messi to win it, which is ridiculous, but it is a conspiracy theory. And I do get that. I just don't, to be honest, apart from yesterday, Tunisia were in their group, sorry. I thought that, I don't think Morocco played that well. I don't think Argentina played that well. Hope Argentina wins, so we'll have 2 World Cup winning centre-backs, says Matthew Lynn. Good point. But look, maybe we're being a bit premature here. Maybe Morocco can come back and do something. I mean, they've got pretty good possession stats there, 59%. And France might do what they did against England. They get the early goal and then they sit back. So, I'm sorry to give people a wake-up call here, but this whole England dominated the game against France. They did. But they didn't when it was 0-0. France got that early goal, and it's a mentality thing. I think France got that early goal and then fancied themselves to defend, which was a mistake, and it gave England the momentum, didn't it? Then it went to 1-1 and France started attacking again, got the second goal, and went defensive again. I think football can be like that. Look, Morocco are dominating the possession now. There's no way they would be dominating the possession at 0-0. I think the way Deschamps plays is, once he's in front, they do just sort of go, let's soak up the pressure because we've got really quick wingers to break with. Just Keevan says, goals win games. It's a quote from Michael Owen. Spencer said, what's happened to your old setup? I've been moving about a bit, basically, for the last week. And I don't mean like dancing to Christmas songs. I have been moving around a bit recently. So I'm in a different room now. I'll have to do a setup video. But I'm struggling to figure out whether I'm going to stay like this or I'm going to do it like this. Now, that doesn't mean I'll stream like this. What it means is I might twist my camera and desk around and do it that way. I haven't made my mind up yet. So I haven't put my green screen up yet. It's not divorce. It's not divorce. I'm not getting divorced. Nice ball out to Dembele. So I don't want to start drilling holes. Oh, pardon. I don't want to start drilling holes until I know which way I'm going to go. So, and that's not that drilling holes and which way I'm going to go. That's not sexual. I'm talking about. I'm actually talking about my studio here. So, yeah. But the green screen will return. I've got to get it done by next Wednesday, which is the next... Oh, no. I'll probably get it done by the World Cup final, actually. Evening, Vavavoom 14. I do like this setup, but it is very much... a work in progress. Temporary as well. Is there a way back for Morocco? Is there a way back for Morocco? Every night I'm hugging my pillow. Sha-la-la-la-la-la-la. Here we go, Morocco. On the attack. 3v3. Slip him in. Shoot first time, Ziyech. Oh, he's on his right foot. Couldn't. Yeah, needed to shoot first time there. But he couldn't because he's left-footed. Alvarez is a baller. Wonder why United said no. And they said no to Enzo Fernandez. Thanks everyone who's tuning in, by the way. Please do subscribe to the channel. You're all welcome on That's Football. Oh, there it is. This is my favourite thing. I've had it for years. It's actually made of rubber, but it's pumped up. It's quite firm. I use it for skills, living room football. Oh, I've scored many. You know what? I've probably scored goal of the season 100 times with this. It's just got perfect weight. I love it. France conceded in every match so far, so Argentina will score. So we'll come down to the attack in the midfield. France have better at both overall, says Alan Kenny. Argentina can win that final. Of course they can. That Says is limping again. I mean, he's been injured since the Spain game, hasn't he? Argentina can definitely win that game. Look at the poll. Who would you want to win the final? 50-50. I'm actually quite surprised by that. We've had 6,000 votes and it's 50-50. I'm stunned by that. I'm absolutely stunned by that. You know, I really thought Argentina would be up about 65%. Why is it that people don't really want Argentina to win then? Let me know in the chat. It's not who do you think will win, it's who do you want to win, France or Argentina. If France win the World Cup, Varane will be the only player in the history to win 2 World Cups and 4 Champions Leagues, says Akshay. But then again, Martinez won't have 1. But Argentina might not start Martinez. Good point. Looks like they're going to have to take off their centre-back, but they'll probably go to... They can go to a back 4, can't they? They don't need a back 5 now. You're losing 1-0. Morocco moving the ball around nicely. I just wonder if they're going to be a bit of a Croatia. Have they got the goals? Drawty Design must want to take sledgehammers to those shelves. It's like Father Ted and the Teas Made episode, says Nick P. Yeah, I know what you mean. I know what you mean. That's the Christmas episode, isn't it? I need to watch that. Christmassy Ted. I always watch that. Well, I think an early goal in this game is good for it. I know a lot of people want Morocco to win, but you know it was always going to be defence against attack, and that can be quite tedious for the viewer. So the fact that France have scored first means that Morocco have got to come out and play a little bit, which makes it hopefully better for us, unless France score another, and then in which case it could end up being last night. I mean, we could end up with 2 very one-sided semi-finals, which is not, again, it's not a great thing for this World Cup, is it? I mean, I look back on this World Cup and I go, well, lovely play here. Griezmann lays it off and Mbappe fouled somebody apparently. I look at this World Cup and I think the first week was poor. Is this the worst World Cup ever, says MacPack. It's hard for me to say. Do you think Ronaldo will end up at Madrid, Mark, says Leroy Cooper? Apparently he's been training there today. I don't know. I mean, that would really set a cat amongst the pigeons, that would. It's hard for me to say if this has been the worst World Cup, because the World Cup I liked the least, and I'm really going to shock people here, was South Africa. Because England were dreadful, and that was the World Cup where I really gave up on England for a few years, because every other World Cup, every other Euros, I really got into England, and we didn't qualify for the Euros in 2008, so I was really excited about the World Cup, and we were absolutely terrible, and I just couldn't be arsed to watch other teams, so I didn't watch most of the World Cup in 2010 apart from England games. But a lot of people say that the 2010 World Cup was good. So that's what I mean. It's hard for me to say what my worst World Cup is, because some of them have been ruined by England, but were good World Cups. Like '94 World Cup, England weren't even in it, but it was good. If Messi wins the World Cup, Messi-Ronaldo debate will be even more annoying. Come on, France, says G Music. But look, I look at this World Cup and I think that, is it better than Russia? Which, I don't think the Russian World Cup was that good. I do not think it was. France, I didn't find very entertaining, and they won it. England got to the semi-finals with Dele Alli and Jesse Lingard in the midfield. I don't think we were very good either. So I don't really think that the Russian World Cup was very good, but the group stage was. The group stage was very, very good. There was lots of goals. 2002 World Cup was rigged bad, says Connor. You see, England did well in 2002, so I quite liked it. And I quite liked the novelty of the early kickoffs. Like, I remember watching England-Argentina at about 10:30 in the morning and still being out at 2 o'clock in the morning, 15 hours later. Admittedly, it wasn't nice in the quarterfinals against Brazil, because it kicked off at 7 a.m. on a Tuesday, and we were out the World Cup at 8:45, which was a bit weird. But yeah, I mean, I think with this World Cup, Morocco are just struggling to get near the goal here. They're just nice ball out wide. I think with this World Cup, the first week was bad. I mean, we had loads of. Didn't we have 5-0 in the first week? Second week, third group games was good, and then round of 16 was crap until Morocco knocked Spain out. Quarterfinals were okay. England-France was quite good. And semi-finals have been, so far a bit boring. So I don't think it's been a great World Cup though so far. But look, Argentina-France would be a good final. Doesn't mean we get a good final. And you shouldn't judge the World Cup on whether you like the fact that Qatar got it, whether it's a Christmas World Cup. Obviously, I can't stand the fact that we've done it at Christmas. I think it's just so wrong. But no, I'll judge it on the football, and I don't think it's been a great World Cup football-wise. Although, I do think France have been very good. The World Cup doesn't feel like it should count because it's so different, says Ronan. I think that's going to be its problem, Ronan. I think this World Cup will get swept under the carpet very, very quickly. I don't think it will get remembered fondly, and I think people will sort of... You know what? I said it, didn't I? I said it before. I think it's going to be like the COVID season. The season where Man City won the league in the COVID year, where there was no fans in the ground. I think that's what this World Cup's going to be like. It goes down in the history books, but it's not remembered really, because I just don't. I think it's just out of the norm. It's not normal, is it, to have a World Cup in November? We're still locked on 50-50 with 8,000 votes. So I was going to do a poll about the World Cup, but I can't do it at the moment. Who would you want to win the final, France or Argentina? And it's 50-50. Now, I'm talking about the year after Liverpool won it, the full COVID year. Liverpool won it when COVID broke, but the season after that was basically a full year with hardly any fans in the ground. So you're wrong. Matthew says if Messi wins the World Cup, a lot of people will say it's the best ever. But that's just nepotism, isn't it? That's just favouritism because of people want that to happen. I don't want to give people a history lesson, but COVID happened in February. March, and the season got shut down till June. We came back in June and finished the season in August, and Liverpool won the league. Then we came back at the end of September and did a season for the vast majority of it in lockdown with no fans in the ground. That's the season I'm talking about. The season Liverpool won it ended with COVID, but we'd played 3/4 of the season before COVID. The season I'm talking about is the total COVID season, which was Man City. Sorry to give you a history lesson. It was only 3 years ago. I don't know what you've been doing with your lives. Can Morocco get back into it? They're on the attack here with Ziyech. Oh, he's into the box. Another player going down. And he's going to give him a yellow card, I think. Yellow card to the Moroccan. And I don't know that he should be given a yellow card here. That's not a yellow card. That's the worst yellow card of the tournament. I mean, what is Boufal supposed to do? That is a shocking yellow card. Absolutely shocking. I mean, that's just guesswork. I can't stand referees like that. Guesswork refereeing. This was the goal, though. It was a lovely ball by Varane into Griezmann. Lays it back. Mbappe gets the shot off eventually. Blocked. And it's a nice finish by Hernandez. He's got the keeper and the defender to beat. Good one. Some people saying it should have been a penalty to France. I can see what you... a penalty to Morocco. I can see what you're talking about, but he gets a bit of the ball first. So... wouldn't be a penalty, but definitely shouldn't have been a yellow card. Rupin saying it should have been a penalty. I'd like to see it again, but I'm pretty sure Hernandez gets a bit of the ball first. But it was definitely not a yellow card for Boufal of Morocco there. So we've had 28 minutes here. Early goal for France. It's opened up the game a bit. Morocco have had to open up a little bit more than they probably would have done. Let's be honest, they wouldn't have done. So, decisions by the refs have been dreadful this World Cup, says B. Yakov. That's nothing, I'm not going to blame this World Cup for that. That's not unusual. When you've got so many referees from so many different nations and, they've all got different ideas. 2002 World Cup was alright, but was more in hype and nostalgia carries it. In 2014, the football was class, but by the end it fizzled away. And these two last World Cups have just been meh, says Reverse Clouds. Yeah, you're right about 2014. It did fizzle out. I think it's very difficult for a World Cup to be brilliant from end to start. What you've got to hope for is a good group stage. And then, there's 8 round of 16 games, so maybe you get 3 or 4 good ones there. There's 4 quarterfinals, so you get 2 there, and then 2 semi-finals, you get a good one there, and then the final's good, and then you've achieved it. You're never going to get every game be brilliant in a World Cup, especially with the way it's going with 48 teams now. But what we tend to have had in recent years is, you're right, 2014 group stage was good, first set of knockouts were good, and then it fizzled away at the end. I think you've got to have a good group stage. I think if the group stage doesn't go well, it doesn't bode well. And this group stage never got going until the 3rd set of games. I found it weird, actually. Because on paper there was some really... I thought Spain-Germany was a really good 0-0. But this World Cup broke the record for 0-0s, didn't it? Was it 7 was the record and this has had 8? I don't know how you get 8 0-0s, really. Oh, cut back. No. Morocco. Ziyech. Wide. Oh, it's 1-1 between Spain and Germany. Thank you. Deschamps wins again. Southgate is set for life, says Alan Kenny. Varane's been fantastic. I've just done a tweet about Varane. Sort of sums it up. Japan were very good. I enjoyed the USA as well. I've been alive for 4 World Cups, and the France-Argentina game in 2018 was the best World Cup game I've seen, says Ronan. What's the best World Cup game you've seen, everybody? Let me know in the chat and we'll read some out while I think about mine. Don't forget, we're sponsored by Wash and Go. Get it delivered to your door. It's here in reality. There's no green screen behind me today, so I can show you the green. The Wash and Go. 2-in-1. Clean, strong and healthy hair. Shampoo and conditioner. Delivered to your door through the link in the description or scan the QR code. What's my favourite World Cup game? Portugal-Spain 3-3 was brilliant. That was a group game, wasn't it? That was brilliant. Very good. Germany against Brazil was a thrashing, but I'm not massive about... I prefer a good game of football. That's why that 3-3 Portugal-Spain game was so good. Mbappe lays it off. He's going to shoot. Oh, and he hit Giroud. Caught it well. It was offside. Argentina, Netherlands, 98 was good in the knockout stage. Bergkamp's goal late on. I've seen so much football. It's hard to think back. Italy, England, Germany was a brilliant semi-final in 1990. It was a good game. We just lost. Welcome, Jose. Thanks for the super chat. The one where Van Persie scored that diving header was amazing, says Jack. That was 2014. That was Netherlands against... Why do I not know who that was against? Was it Mexico? I don't remember who that was against. Spain. It was against Spain. My favourite England game wasn't in the World Cup. It was Euro 96, Netherlands at Wembley. Brilliant game. Probably the best game England have played in my life, really, in knockout tournament. You know, forget all this beating Costa Rica and stuff. Griezmann with the corner. Oh, wild. Can you imagine 2018 winners France, 2022 winners France, with the talent they still have coming through? Benzema, Pogba, Kante and Kunku injured as well. Who's going to stop them winning in 2026 as Moms? Themselves. I think France, you know, they've had tournaments where, you know, I thought in 2002 they'd win it and they imploded. So look at Brazil this year. I thought Brazil would walk it to the final and they didn't even make the semis. So you can come into a tournament with a really good set of players, but it's about how the players work together, a bit of luck, the right mentality. I mean, this is what I mean about England. Oh, let's stay with Southgate. We've got such a young set of players. The golden generation. They'll come again. And I'm like, I'm sorry. I've seen this time and time again. It happened after 2002. Well, we're going to win it in 2006. We got knocked out in the quarterfinals. Like, lovely ball into Mbappe. The pace is real, but cleared. He rounded the keeper, but it was cleared by the defender. Giroud! Oh, just wide. France there. Wham bam, but no thank you, ma'am. It was not in. But that pace of France, ooh. Look at the speed from Mbappe here. Slips him in. Did well to the defender not to give a penalty away. And then it comes into Giroud on the turn. Probably should have done a bit better. He knows he should. Best World Cup team you've seen, says Ronan. Yeah, but that's what I mean. Just going back to the previous super chat there from Mom's Spaghetti about France next World Cup. Of course, they'll be one of the favourites. They've got very, very good players. And I think Zidane will be their coach then. I mean, it's a tough job for Zidane to take on, isn't it? Deschamps winning the World Cup twice in a row. Unless you win the World Cup next time, you're a failure, aren't you? So big job if Zidane is taking the job, which is widely rumoured. But I wouldn't be surprised if France don't win it in the next World Cup, even though they'll be one of the favourites. Now, this is an interesting 50-50. Tchouaméni, I think he's going to get up. He's all right. Yeah, I don't buy into this nonsense that England will win it in the next World Cup because they were unlucky this time. Well, have they played Brazil? Brazil were unlucky. Brazil will probably be good again in 4 years' time. France will be good in 4 years' time. Do you think Germany are just going to sit back and accept going out in the group stage? Germany will come again. Maybe there'll be a new Dutch generation. Like, you can't talk like that in international football because 4 years is a long time. And you get all, I know the players have got to say it and I know the FA have got to say it. Oh, this team will win things. I don't believe you. I know you've got to believe it, but I don't think you've got any chance of winning it any more than you did this time. Because, tomorrow never comes. You've got to grab it today, and we didn't grab it, did we, against France? It was this World Cup. And maybe I speak with experience because I saw it happen in 2002. And it was like, in 4 years' time, we'll be even better. But no, you should have won it now. You played for half an hour against 10 men Brazil in 2002, and you didn't score a goal, and you went out. There'll never be a chance better than 2002. People say, if Harry Kane scores the penalty, it would have been 2-2 against 11 men. In 2002, we had a golden generation, and we were 2-1 down to Brazil with half an hour to go, and they had Ronaldinho sent off. Best player sent off and down to 10 men. We went out like a wet fart. We were terrible. And it was like, we'll build on this for the next World Cup. And we didn't. I don't believe in this next year. It's Del Boy. This time next year we'll be millionaires. What about now? Why aren't we doing it now? We bottled it. And that's what happened. And the winner of that quarter-final wins the World Cup for me. And we'll see. Maybe Argentina will do it in the final, but I said it in 2002. The winner of that quarter-final, Brazil or England, wins the World Cup. And I said it this time. France or England win the World Cup. France are hamstrung by their manager. Deschamps will go defensive. Scaloni will go defensive. The final will need a goal early. Otherwise, it'll be 0-0, says Alan Kenny. Yeah, I could see it being a 0-0, actually, But I think that plays into Argentina's hands because I think France would be better having a pop at Argentina. I don't think Argentina have got blistering pace on the break to hurt France, whereas I think France can play higher up. Corner to France here. And like NI2 says, finals tend to be boring because no one's going to risk anything. Exactly. It's the final of the World Cup. You've been there for a month. You don't want to be left thinking, if only. Varane nearly scored then, front post on the corner. I'll tell you what, I'm very happy with Varane as well because he's, injury prone. But look, this tournament, all right, I know he wasn't quite fit at the start, but he got himself back and has just been absolutely superb. What do you think about Belgium next World Cup? Says hello. I think it's over for Belgium, isn't it? I mean, I mean, I can't believe that you had people like Witsel, Vertonghen, Alderweireld playing for you. I mean, I really thought it was 2016. I don't know what was going on there. Hi Mark, hope you're well. Do you ever remember a World Cup final where a current best players plays against best up-and-coming world class player? Because I don't, thank you. So Said, I think you're talking about Mbappe and Messi, aren't you, mate? Reverse clouds. Another thing ruins this knockouts is when too many underdogs make it out of their groups because they just end up getting clobbered by the big team, says Reverse clouds. Yeah. Too many underdogs can be a bad thing. Croatia aren't really underdogs because they got to the final, but Croatia's problem was they didn't have a forward. If they'd had a forward, I mean, you know what? Lewandowski up front for Croatia, and they probably win the World Cup, don't they? They reached their ceiling yesterday, and Morocco have hit their ceiling, really. I would have much preferred Brazil to have won that penalty shootout with Croatia. And I like Croatia and I respect them, but Brazil-Argentina would have been a better semi-final because it would have been a derby and they would have been, more balanced teams. I think Croatia are a brilliant team up front. I mean, even Perisic. Spurs fans will tell you, Perisic is a left winger. Those days are gone. I think if you spoke to FIFA or the organisers in Qatar about this World Cup, and they said you can change one thing about this World Cup, they'd get Brazil back. I think it was bad it's always bad for the tournament. Doesn't matter where it is. Doesn't matter if it's in 4 years' time. It's bad for that World Cup if Brazil go out in the quarterfinals. It's they are so intrinsically linked with the World Cup, and especially this year. There's another interesting thing about the final, though, that's worth considering. I'll tell you in a minute. Stephen, thank you very much for the super chat. He says, I love Lisandro Martinez, but I think France would be good to be aggressive early against the Argentinian defence. He probably won't start, Stephen. One thing about the final that would be interesting, and it'd be even more interesting if Morocco found a way back, but if France do win this game between France and Argentina, remember that we've not had a non-European winner of the World Cup in 20 years. And if France win it, it'll be 24 years. So it's worth considering that. Do you want another European team to win it? I can close the poll. 51% of you would like France to win the final. We had 12,500 votes, so thank you, everybody. 49% Argentina. I'm slightly surprised about that. Who would I want to win the final? It's romantically Messi, but the better team is France from what I've seen across the World Cup. But look, it's not the Great British Bake Off. You're not looking at previous weeks. We're looking at the final, and I don't think there's that much between France and Argentina that you'd go France deserve to win it. It's who wins the final. Look, Morocco is still in this. It's only cross comes in, headed away by Giroud. Post! Morocco hits the post and cleared away. And another shot wide. Ooh, I tell you what. I love it when a plan comes together. And you know what? I think if you are somebody that likes to analyse football like I do, it was a lovely overhead kick as well. Lloris just didn't expect it. Overhead kick, well, he sort of shins it onto his foot. And it's the foot of the post. I tell you what, it wasn't clean. It was a bit like Rooney's against Man City, but it was effective. Lloris might have had it covered, but it hit the post. Very good effort. Very good effort. And just going back to Said's super chat, I don't remember a World Cup final where the current best player plays against the best up-and-coming world-class player. The closest I can think of was... it wasn't the World Cup final, it was the World Cup semi-final. And it was Italia 90. And it was England against Germany. And for me, Lothar Matthäus was the best player in the world at that time. People would say Maradona, but I don't think Maradona was the best player in the world at that time. I think Lothar Matthäus was. And then you had Gascoigne. And they both played against each other in the midfield. That was an interesting game, but it wasn't the World Cup final. Morocco are doing very, very well at the moment. Three minutes of added time. It was a shame about Maradona in '94. That Argentina team. Didn't they beat Nigeria 6-0? And that was when Maradona went up to the camera and was like, "Meh." That Argentina, it had Batistuta in it, Veron was in it. They looked really good. And then, obviously, Maradona failed the drugs test and it all went to shit. But that would have been a very interesting World Cup if Maradona hadn't had failed his drugs test, because, you know, he was coming towards the end of his career, but they had the likes of Batistuta in the team and it really derailed them. I don't know whether anyone can remember the '94 World Cup, but that Argentina team looked good until that point. Sam, thank you very much for the super chat. Poll for Golden Ball and Golden Gloves, says Robert McCormack. I think the drugs test for Maradona that kicked him out of the '94 World Cup. I mean, he was on coke for most of his career. So, you know, like, if anything, it probably made him play worse. I mean, imagine Maradona not on coke. It was 2-1 against Nigeria. They beat somebody 6-0. Maybe it was Saudi Arabia in '94. They beat somebody. Or maybe it was 4-0. I mean, I'm thinking off the top of my head here. They beat somebody 4-0. Argentina were 4 or 6-0. And Argentina were in the blue kit with the black trim. And Maradona. Morocco are dominating at the moment. They're doing well. This is what I mean. An early goal has made Morocco change the way they play. Lloris punches it away. The most obvious failure of a drugs test, says Michael, yeah. They wouldn't drugs test him now, would they? Because they wouldn't want him to be kicked out of the World Cup. Well, you know what? It's not over. I feel like we're sort of getting to that point now where Morocco almost deserve to be back in this game. Ziyech, not a great cross from the free kick. And I think that will be half time. Let's have a look at the stats. As soon as we talk about '94 World Cup, that song automatically starts. Right, let's have a look at the stats at half time. So, look at that. 56% of the possession has been with Morocco. They've had 5 shots to be fair, France have had 9, but 2 shots on target each. 262 passes to 204. 88% accuracy with Morocco as well. So Morocco's response to going 1-0 down has been very, very good. Very, very good. Now, you might have listened and heard what I said when France went 1-0 up. And it's worth listening again. Argentina beat Greece 4-0, Algeria 2-0 and lost 0-2 to Bulgaria, says Kenneth. Yeah, and I think Maradona was gone by the Bulgarian game, wasn't he? Bulgaria had a very good World Cup, didn't they? Was it Lechkov and Stoichkov? Joseph says, referees fixing it for a Messi versus Mbappe final. I think there's something that's really worth considering. And if you are still doing this, get out and go for a walk. England deserved to lose on Sunday because we didn't win. There is no unlucky, there is no injustice in football. That game, we should have won it if we're the better team. I thought we were the better team and I thought we bottled it. But there is also a lesson to be learned about Deschamps. I found Deschamps in the 2018 World Cup quite infuriating. They just did enough. They weren't that interesting to watch. The interesting thing about France this World Cup is that at times they've played really good stuff. But in the knockout stage, when they've gone ahead, they've become quite like 2018, especially from the quarterfinals. It's almost like the closer they get to the final, the more pragmatic they become. Now, England earned a lot of praise because we dominated large portions of the game against France. But we dominated large portions of the game against France when France were 1-0 up or 2-1 up. We didn't dominate large portions of the game at 0-0 and 1-1. And obviously a large portion of the game between England and France was 1-0 and 2-1 to France. Well, we've seen it again here. I don't believe that England were better than France. I think it's a game plan of Deschamps. They go 1-0 up or 2-1 up, and then they look to protect what they've got and counter. And if it goes back level, they'll be more expansive. And we've seen it here. They're 1-0 up against Morocco, and people think, oh, it's going to be 3 or 4-0. It's never looked like being 3 or 4-0. They started off the game really aggressive. I saw Fofana, Tchouaméni, Konate, all in the space of the first few minutes, running out of position to press and win the ball back. Aggressive, expansive. They get that first goal, and that all disappears. They go into their lines, they concede possession, and they look to hit on the break. That's not this whole, England dominated France. Well, Morocco have dominated France. It's a game plan. It's a game plan. When they're level, they'll be expansive. When they're behind in the knockout stages, they've gone quite pragmatic and counter-attacking. It's very easy to observe, isn't it? I think they're capable of going and winning this game 3 or 4-0, but I don't think he's happy to do what he's doing, and it works. Deschamps is using perfectly Mbappe and Dembele's pace by dropping on the defence and counter-attacking. Yeah, and they have got 2 speed merchants who can do that. But look, there's a way back into it for Morocco. There definitely is a way back into it for Morocco. 1-0 makes it more interesting for us, certainly. But yeah, I just think that I said it on Sunday night, and I'll say it again. I can't be arsed with the sympathy card. We went out, we had an opportunity, and we blew it. I don't think we had the right manager. I thought the substitutions were shite. Raheem Sterling has been in London for the week before the game. Marcus Rashford scored 3 goals. 10 minutes to go in a must-win game, and he brings Raheem Sterling on instead of Marcus Rashford. That's sackable. That was sackable. I don't know why that doesn't get discussed at all. I like Raheem Sterling. Not had a very good season for Chelsea. Didn't have a very good World Cup. Had been back at home with some serious personal issues. Comes back into the squad and gets brought on ahead of Marcus Rashford. Ridiculous decision. And we lost 2-1, so you can call it out as a ridiculous decision. But yeah, I do think there's a bit of a myth going round that England dominated France and are the better side. They didn't dominate us when it was equal. And for most of the game, they were winning. And I think they were happy to sit back and counter. And they've done it again. Are we going to sit here and say that Morocco are the better team? Yes. Are they better than France? No. I think France are playing a game. I do. I think France played a game against us. When it was 0-0, I thought it was very, very equal. When France were losing, we dominated. But I think they wanted us to. And I think they want Morocco to. I think Deschamps is absolutely confident that he's going to hit Morocco on the break at some point and win the game. Should Morocco have had a penalty? I think Hernandez gets a touch on the ball before he kicks through. But at the end of the day, better team. Who cares? Winning team. The Mourinho factor. It's about winning. I remember watching Inter knock Barcelona out in the Champions League semi-final over 2 legs. Barcelona were 100% the better team. They lost. One of the highlights of the 94 World Cup was Thomas Brolin for Sweden. He was awesome. He bought form from 92 Euros. Diary. I hated the Euros 92. Brolin! Darlene! Brolin! Piss off. Piss off. Piss off! Dairy says, one of the highlights... I've read it again. Hi, Mark. How did you feel when Ronaldo was out of the World Cup and at the start of the World, who did you want to win, Messi or Ronaldo? Says football or something. Look, I love Ronaldo. I always will love Ronaldo. I can't be arsed with the Messi-Ronaldo debate because it doesn't mean anything anymore. They're completely different. Messi's still able to do it at the top level because he's 35, and Ronaldo is nearly 38, and time has caught up with him. There's no comparison between the two. If you want to compare them, go back and compare them 5-10 years ago. I don't dislike Messi. I don't understand this whole I love Ronaldo, I hate Messi, or I love Messi, I hate Ronaldo. I don't get it. We're privileged, absolutely privileged, to live in a world where we got to see two of the greatest players ever play together. This would have been like, Maradona and Pele playing at the same time. And actually, I think Maradona and Pele is quite a good example. But we got them together at the same time. So I don't really have preferential treatment of either. I'd love to have seen a Ronaldo and Messi final, but it just never got going for Ronaldo in this tournament, and I don't think it will. In all honesty, I don't think it will. I do want to ask you as well is I'm trying to think how to phrase this poll. Okay, I'll do it like this. How would you rate this World Cup? Yes, Goldbridge, you're brilliant when you're thinking on your feet. You're such a creative. Good, average, or bad? See what I've done there? I've given you 3 options. How would you rate this World Cup? Good, average, or bad? Get your votes in, and we'll discuss that in a moment. Don't forget on Saturday night. I know it's the weekend before Christmas, but I know you're going to want me to tell you this. Do not forget on Saturday night it's Croatia against the loser of this in the 3rd versus 4th place World Cup playoff. You know it's big. Don't forget to miss it. Don't forget to watch it. Can I also just say as well, the QR code there is to remind me. Wash and Go. I'm loving. This is the first ever Wash and Go sponsorship I've done where you can see the bottle, because normally I've got a green screen behind me, and this proves I haven't got a green screen behind me, by the way, because you can see the colour green. Wash and Go 2-in-1 shampoo and conditioner for strong, healthy hair. I use it every day. I do use it every day, and get it delivered to your door. Big shout out to Wash and Go. Links in the description as well, or you can scan the QR code with your phone. You can also watch my advert I did with Wash and Go. Been watched by over 100,000 people now, and counting. Give it a watch. Give it 2 watches. It's sort of behind the scenes, sort of fly on the wall sort of documentary thing. So check it out. Links in the description. Really enjoyed making it. Big shout out to Wash and Go. Scan the QR code if you want to get some, or go through the link in the description. I need to stop the clock. I'm getting pelters in the chat. Getting some pelters in there. Let me stop and reset it. There we go. Interestingly, a lot of people are rating it as a good World Cup, and I'm glad to see that, because I can't understand what you think is good about it. So we'll discuss that in a minute. I'd love to know the age profile of these people who say it's a good World Cup as well. Mark, did you watch the 3rd place playoff in 2018 between Belgium and England? I forgot 3rd place playoff was even happening. Stephen, can I just say, you've just made the comment of the evening. Comment of the evening by Stephen Hazard. I definitely did not watch, and I'm English, that 3rd place game between Belgium and England. I didn't watch it, and I'm English. So the chances of me watching Croatia play France or Morocco are 0 points. I absolutely did not watch England play Belgium. I didn't watch. I tell you what, I didn't watch England play Italy in Italia 90 either. You know, if people from that country aren't going to watch it, what chance have you got of other people watching it? But I want to know. I really want to know why You know what? You've intrigued me here. There you go, just for the green screen lovers. Don't say I don't give you a treat. Dan is referring the final thoughts on him. I don't know who that is, Bandit. I don't know. I'm coming back now. Josiah, thank you very much for the super chat. He says, with the players speaking out about the refereeing during this World Cup, do you feel they're trying to give this World Cup to Messi, or is it just coincidence? There has been a few people coming out talking about the referee, and I'm not a big fan of it, really. I think moaning about the referee should be kept to fans and sometimes managers. I don't think players should be openly coming out talking about referees. I've seen Harry Maguire do it. I've seen Bruno Fernandes do it. I've seen a couple of other people doing it. And, yeah, it doesn't sit right with me, to be honest. Please do subscribe to the channel, by the way. Bottom right-hand corner. You know what? I'm amazed how quick this World Cup's gone. I mean, remember when we were doing 4 games a day? That was a crazy time. Absolutely crazy. Voted good cultural mixing of all fans in one city. Underdogs performed well and some very exciting games. No doubt the human right issue exists, says Nihal. Thank you very much for the super chat. Really appreciate that. Because I'm intrigued to know why people think it has been a good World Cup. So, yeah, thank you very much for that. Appreciate it. And Kyle says, I don't understand why people are saying this World Cup is good. Why it's rigged for Messi. This is the biggest football tournament in the world. You're high if you think it's rigged. I'm 21, actively watched every World Cup since 2010, and this has been the worst by far of the 4. Not old enough to remember the 06, but highlights and video I've seen made it seem incredible. This is Ollie G. Please do subscribe, Roy. By the way, we're only 300 away from 864,000. Bottom right-hand corner to do this. No, I just want to have a stretch, actually. I am massively, massively intrigued by why people think this has been a good World Cup. Because I can categorically say it hasn't. But that's only my opinion, of course. And my opinion's no better than yours. CS, thank you very much for the super chat. But I'm intrigued and confused. I wouldn't even describe this World Cup as average. I would describe it as distinctly bad. I don't think it's been very good. I don't. I can't think of. I'm not massively enamoured by underdogs who park the bus getting to the semi-final. I think for me, Morocco beating Spain was fine. I'd have rather Portugal beat Morocco. I think Croatia getting to the quarterfinals was fine. I'd rather Brazil had beaten Croatia. I think we've been deprived of better semi-finals because of underdogs going too far, if that makes sense. Obviously, it's my opinion, and I respect Morocco and Croatia, and I like both teams, but I would rather have, I can only speak about what I would rather have had, and I would have rather had that. Maradona versus Van Basten was good. Shame that Van Basten had to stop his career so early. Was a wonderful striker, says Jonas. Hi Mark, kind of new to your channel and all out of context. I love your Sean Dyche impression, says Juiced. Thank you very much. And what players you feel underperformed this World Cup, like players who came with a lot of hype? Josh Ayer, definitely Kevin De Bruyne. Definitely Kevin De Bruyne. But in the poll at the moment, 41% would describe it as an average World Cup, 45% would describe it as a good World Cup, and only 14% would describe it as a bad World Cup. So I'm massively in the minority, but I can't get everything right all the time, and I can't be inconsistent. I think it's been a bad World Cup. Sorry, I do. I won't look back on it and go, yeah, that was good. I thought the group stage was crap until the last set of games. I thought the round of 16 was crap, apart from Spain, Morocco. I thought the quarterfinals were better, and I think the semi-finals have been a bit crap as well. So bad, average to bad for me. Good. I've seen. I don't know what you'd describe 2014, 2002, 98, 2006 as if this is good. but it's all about opinion. I'm not a nostalgia merchant. I'm just a realist. You've obviously been deprived of watching anything. If you think this is good, you must like the One Show and repeats of EastEnders. There hasn't been a game during this World Cup that is better than a top-half Premier League game, in my opinion. It's slow, and not good to watch. Yeah, I think the standard of football's not being very good, Jack. I agree. I mean, but look, I will defend it. It's unfair to compare any international tournament to the Premier League, because the Premier League shits all over this. The Champions League does as well. Because those players are playing week in, week out with each other. They're training day in, day out with each other. So the chemistry and tactical systems make the football better. You can't compete with that. You can't. There hasn't been I've done that one from Jack. Thank you very much. Treble Champ says, if you think this one was bad, wait till the next. Well, you know what? I was about to say that. Lovely ball into Mbappe. Mbappe's caught the keeper. From a player welfare point of view, this has been a poor World Cup, says Shell. Yeah, well, we're gonna suffer the problems of that. I mean, that's a separate issue, although it will be World Cup related. I think that the second half of the season is going to be an absolute shambles. The amount of people that are going to be injured, and you know, you look at the latter stages of any league race or tournament or cup, you ain't going to be getting best 11s out for anybody. I mean, I think Bayern Munich have got 2 or 3 players out already. I mean, that might not be because of this, but thoughts on 3 Doors Down? I love Here Without You, says Albin. What is 3 Doors Down? Oh, it's a band. I think I know the song you're on about. Yeah, it's all right. Hi, Mark. Just wondering where the background's gone. Is Georgie on strike with the postal workers wanting more money? Loved all the World Cup streams, says Blakey. No, I've explained it a few times. I've moved into a different room and I haven't set my green screen up yet. I'm very busy at the moment, and I just haven't got half an hour to get the drill out and everything and do it, and I'm just not in the mindset at the moment. But I know the honest truth is I don't know whether I'm going to move it around or not, so I don't want to start drilling holes. Kawari wants some recommendations for a good horror film. Mark, make thoughts on Felix joking Arsenal. How will you stop his now, says Zayn Miasi. Joining Arsenal. I think João Felix to Arsenal would be a good deal. I don't know whether you'll pay the money though. I'd be amazed if he goes to Villa, Jay Greenwood. I'd be absolutely amazed. Please subscribe to the channel, by the way, bottom right hand corner. Let me just start the stats carousel. Yeah, I mean, I can't believe how quick this World Cup has gone, really. I'm over the moon about that. I can't wait to get Premier League football back. I mean, that is one thing that as fans that we benefit from. Normally, after a World Cup, you've still got another 6 weeks before the Premier League's back. But because of a Winter World Cup, what a run by Mbappe here. He's very wide. Ooh. Oh, he said he got the ball. It was a wild tackle, but the referee says he got the ball. I don't think I don't think this ref is being biased to Mbappe, because he easily could have given a foul there. Now, Mbappe stayed down. It was a great run by Mbappe. I don't know. He does get the ball, but it's a wild tackle. I just don't think Mbappe appreciated it, but he does get the ball. I'd like to see The Shining is very good, Leon. You're very right. Oh, I don't want to see Mbappe out the final. Football Friday says, do you think it's Qatar's fault that you think it's a bad World Cup? No, I'm judging it on the football. I'm not a fan of the World Cup being played in November, and nothing will ever change that. I think it completely damages player welfare, the season, the integrity of the season. You know, we are playing a Premier League season, but we're not. It's not a normal Premier League season when you stick a World Cup in the middle of it. Of course, it's going to impact on it. So I just don't agree with the World Cup being played in the middle of the season. But, you know, and I know that's because it is in Qatar, but I don't really blame them for that. I blame FIFA for that. But yeah, you can't say it's a bad World Cup because of that. It might be a factor in why the football's been bad, but I don't think the football's been bad because it's a World Cup in the winter. I'd actually say it benefited England because we're normally exhausted in the summer, and actually we were quite fresh. So yeah, the Winter World Cup's not a factor really in why this World Cup's not been good. I'm judging it on the actual football, and I just don't think it's been a particularly memorable football tournament. But it might be if Messi wins it, as somebody said before. Hi, Mark. There we go. Morocco. Oh, what's he doing? Volleying it in the air like a balloon. The cross was there. Hi, Mark. Who do you think has been the unknown standout this World Cup who might make a move to a bigger club because of their performances this World Cup? Michael. Morocco winner again. Cuts it back. Great defending by Kanate. And they live to fight another day, do they? What's he gonna do? He's gonna shoot from distance. I think Muzzer at USA has done very, very well. He comes to mind. Do you think Zayn Mayasi's mum knows he took a credit card out of her purse? Says Braden. And the football has been boring and the refs are horrible. People like upsets, unfortunately. Nigeria not being in this World Cup was a big loss as well, says Lecky. Well, I want to go back to that previous point as well, that I think the next World Cup will be worse than this one. Now, there's a prediction for you, which will have nothing to do with the Winter World Cup and will have nothing to do with Qatar or FIFA. I don't think the next World Cup will be better than this World Cup. I think it'll be worse because I think 48 teams is a mistake. And I think it's just going to make it way too diluted and way too long. And I think people will lose interest. It's like, you know, like that film that was on Netflix, The Irishman, that had Pacino, De Niro, and Pesci in it. Could have been an absolute classic, but was too long, and I'll never watch it again. And I don't know why FIFA don't realise that. You're making something bigger that is already big enough. How are you going to make people call that great? You're just going to dilute the tournament. So I actually think the next World Cup will be worse than this one. Although I'm looking forward to it. You know, I think America, Mexico, and Canada is going to be great. But I think it's going to be too many teams in it. And but there is a great point there. The African nations need more qualification places because the qualification process for that is definitely the most competitive continent for qualification. Like, you think of the teams that didn't qualify for this tournament. It's, you know, there's some good quality there. And, you know, Morocco, semi-finalists. Eric says we should skip qualifying and make it a 182 team tournament. They probably will do it at some point, mate. I mean, qualification for the World Cup for a 48 team tournament is hilarious, isn't it? I don't think Ronaldo will play Euro 2024 either. No, I'd be very surprised if he does. He might want to, but I can't see how he will. I don't think Ronaldo anymore can pick what he does, can he? He might not get picked. He might want to play in the Euros, but he might not get picked. You've got to be good enough, haven't you? So, but I'm so pleased that Morocco have done this because it's absolutely put a pin in the bubble that England deserved to beat France. Because maybe they did, but it's so obvious that when France go 1-0, they just counter-attack. Ref's letting a lot go now. Good play here. Has he won a corner? No, it's a goal kick. Dun, 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 dun. Still half an hour to go here. Plenty of time for Morocco. Just looking at the stats there. 59% possession. It's getting to that point. It's very similar to the England game, isn't it? It's getting to that point where Morocco do deserve an equaliser. Do 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 dun 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 dun. Well, there's some subs coming here. I wonder if he's going to take off Mbappe. Mark, I've always believed the World Cup starts in the qualifiers and this is the final stage. I think 32 teams is perfect number, says Paolo. I agree. I agree with you, mate. Hi Mark, were you ever lucky enough to see Oasis live, says Jack? Yeah, I've seen them twice. The worst one was Lansdowne Road before it got renovated. So it would have been about, someone will Google this. They played Lansdowne Road and it must have been 2000 or 2001. I'm going to guess 2001. And Liam was a gibbering joke. He was just gobbing on about stuff in between lyrics. It was a crap concert, but yeah, I've seen them a couple of times, but they were shit there. SS has seen Steps. I've seen Take That at Crow Park with Robbie Williams. You know, I'm unorthodox. I'm quite diverse in my musical likes. You could catch me watching Radiohead, and then the next night I could be watching Les Miserables at the Point Theatre in Dublin, or it's probably not called that now. And then I could be watching The Phantom of the Opera in London, and the next night watching The Gruffalo's Child with Seb at the Playhouse Theatre in Nottingham. France nearly catching them on the break there. France just want to catch them on the break. It's called the 3 Arena now, says John. Yeah, it'll always be called the Point to me. What's the point in the 3 Arena? Dun, dun, dun. Peak says, does Morocco have a chance of winning this? Of course they do. I mean, look, I've got to say, I think France have been really good in this tournament, but it's almost like, oh, that's not a dance, by the way. It's almost Bez. It's almost an example of what a World Cup becomes, isn't it? I think France have played some really good stuff. Their best stuff was in the group stage, let's be honest. Against England, they've been pragmatic, and against Morocco, they've been pragmatic. I've got to say that all the credit I've given France in this tournament, the last 2 games, they've really gone into pragmatic zone, and I think it makes the final very unpredictable. If it is France against Argentina, I no longer think that France will definitely win it, because if they play like this, it could go either way, because it could have gone either way against England, and it could go either way against Morocco. I don't think France are playing to their potential. I think they go 1-0 up, and they go defensive. I actually think France could be playing a lot better in this game. Look how deep they are against Morocco. Ocean Colour Scene live was really good, says David. I haven't listened to an Ocean Colour Scene song in ages. There's one Ocean Colour Scene song I really like, and it's not the obvious ones. I see double. That's not it. Ooh la la. It's not that one either. I'll have to check. Oh, if Morocco score, they'll start attacking again, James, and Morocco will go defensive. It's the momentum, isn't it, of football? That's the way it works. Thanks everyone who's tuned in, by the way. Please do subscribe, bottom right hand corner. Cross into the box, it's a good one, but it's Varane. I'll tell you what, Varane and Kanate have played very well. It has been about French defence, hasn't it? Patrick says, Mark, you're an amazing person. Hope you're doing well. Thank you for the lovely message. I hope you're doing well as well, Patrick. Good cross. It was a good cross. I mean, that's something that's disappeared as well, isn't it? The good crosses. Penny Lane says Argentina will win the World Cup. Penny Lane is in my ears and in my eyes. Don't even like the Beatles that much. They're a bit overrated. They did one good album, The Best of the Beatles, and that was it. I prefer Cast. Favourite Christmas film, says Thomas. Die Hard. Ooh, come on, Morocco, score a goal. We had a goal in 5 minutes, and that's it. Right, there's a sub now. It looks like it's Giroud going off for Thuram. Who does Giroud play for now? I've just had a brain blank. Is it AC Milan? France tactics, park the bus, pass to Mbappe, hope something happens, says Kelly James. They're better than that, though. They are better than that. I mean, it's a very mobile front three. It is AC Milan he plays for. It's a very mobile front three now. He's definitely playing on the counter. Thuram and Mbappe and Dembele. If France continues to play like this, as bad as against England, they will lose to Argentina. So pragmatic and so boring. I'm disappointed in France. You know, I've given them a lot of praise. I don't normally like France. And I've been very impressed by France in this tournament up until the England game and now today, where they've just gone completely get the goal and defend. Thuram's going to Bayern, says Sakaria. The Shining is my favourite Christmas film ever. Fight me, says Nelly. What, because of the snow? But I've got a film like that. One of my favourite films to watch at Christmas is The Revenant. I mean, it's not like the bears going around with tinsel and a Santa hat. There's nothing Christmassy about The Revenant at all, apart from snow. But I think I must have first watched it at Christmas, and I always feel like it's a Christmas film now. You just associate it with Christmas. It doesn't mean it's a Christmas film. Ooh, cross into the box, just a bit high. Lloris gets his hands on it. I haven't watched Elf yet. I haven't watched Home Alone yet. I've watched The Grinch. Watched that with Seb the other week. I've watched Home Alone 2. I need to watch Elf. I've watched National Lampoon's Christmas Vacation. I need to watch Home Alone, Elf, and probably watch Love Actually. We always watch that. I don't necessarily like it. I watched that Amazon Prime one. I can't remember what it was. It's a new one. It's like a British sort of comedy one. Mine for Christmas, I think it's called, or something. It was all right. I've played the game. Daddy's Home 2 is Christmassy, yes. Your Christmas or mine, says James. Yes, that's it. Do you have Madden 23? It's a decent game if you like NFL. Yeah, I do. I used to buy Madden a lot. I haven't bought it for years, but I just think it's probably too long for me. That's what she said. Dubham says you don't seem to be enjoying yourself like the other times. Yeah, yeah. I sort of checked out after England going out. I've got to be honest. But you know what? It's not just England, Brazil as well. I think England going out is obviously going to hurt because you're English. But Varane, headed away by Morocco. But it's not been the World Cup I thought it was going to be. Gremlins is definitely a Christmas film, William. Yes, if it's set at Christmas, it's a Christmas film. I tell you what, as a bit of a cult one, I watched one with Mel Gibson in it. I think it was called Fat Man a couple of years ago, and I quite liked it. I'd recommend it as an alternative Christmas film. I'm sure it was called Fat Man with Mel Gibson in it. It's quite a recent one. Have a look. Look it up tonight and see if you can get it. I don't know. Let me have a look if it's available anywhere. It might not be available anymore. It was sort of a cross between Santa Claus the movie and The Bourne Identity. It was made in 2020. It is called Fat Man. And it's on Sky Movies. Tomorrow at 6:15. Apple TV as well. You can buy it on Amazon for £4. Sky Now Cinema. There you go. One of my favourite Christmas films had Nicolas Cage in called The Family Man. You can't get it anywhere. I really used to like that. I wish I'd downloaded it. Griezmann with a chance to whip a crossed free kick in here. 20 minutes to go. Second goal kills it. Morocco's still hanging in there though. Look at those stats. Good cross. Oh, just not quite got the direction on it. We're walking in the holiday. I need to watch we might watch The Holiday tonight. Me and Mrs. Goldbridge. Let's watch The Holiday. The only thing about The Holiday I don't like is the Kate Winslet bit where she's in LA pissing about. The Cameron Diaz and Jude Law bit's the best with the fake snow. Bridget Jones is a very good Christmas film as well. I love Bridget Jones. It's a Wonderful Life, if you are intelligent, is a great film. If you watch that film and enjoy it, it means you're a good person and you're intelligent, because it was filmed in the 50s, I think, and the story is even true today. It's a very good film. It's a Wonderful Life. I haven't watched it for a few years. The Family Man is on Peacock, says Charlie TV. I'm going to look tonight. If that's on UK, Family Man, Peacock, I'm going to cry. I'm going to have a Christmas cry. Bloody love that film, me. Batman Returns, haven't watched it for years. Yes. Mark, what do you think about Turbo Man as a movie? Says Eves. Don't know what it means. Trading Places, another good one. Yes. Christmas film conversations better than the football World Cup semi-final. Bloody hell. Blakey says, a Muppet Christmas Carol is our family tradition. Watch it every year with the kids. My son's 9, my daughter's 12, 2 days before Christmas. Yeah, I've never really watched that, Blakey. I used to like Mickey's Christmas Carol when I was little. It's only about 24 minutes long. Mickey is Bob Cratchit. Donald Duck isn't really in it. He's hilarious. Scrooge McDuck is actually Scrooge, isn't he? I tell you what, I normally watch the original Lord of the Rings trilogy over Christmas as well, because you can start watching them and then watch them. You've also got that gap in between Christmas and New Year, haven't you? Where you don't want to be watching Home Alone and that then, because Christmas is finished, but you do just still want to chill. Jingle all the way, says Sean. Yeah, Star Wars is also good to watch in that time between Christmas and New Year. Christmas with the Cranks is alright. Great, game so boring we're talking about Christmas movies, says Dylan. You see, this is why That's Football watch-alongs are goated, because we've got the freedom to wander into more interesting conversation. Poor old BBC, they've got to try and sell you a turd. They can't polish this turd. They can't polish it. They're spraying away, but they can't polish it, whereas we can just watch stuff. Polar Express is really good, Cedric, but I find Polar Express really depressing, right? The first time I watched Polar Express, we'd been away for Christmas up to see family, and we got back on like the 28th of December, and we got back at about 2 o'clock in the afternoon, and I was like, let's just watch a film. And Polar Express had been recorded, so we watched it, but it was really depressing to watch 3 days after Christmas, because you're like, well, it's not really Christmas anymore. So I do like it though. Mark, your thoughts on the Willow series on Disney Plus? I think Phil Jones had a cameo in it. I can't watch it, mate. Can't watch it, Zane. I didn't really like the original that much. Hellcat says, when Christmas film talk is more important than a World Cup semi-final, that's when you know the World Cup ain't great. Well, here we go. Morocco. Oh, Morocco. He couldn't get the shot off. He was going into the box and he couldn't get the shot off. Still think Morocco could get an equaliser. The only real Christmas TV tradition I have is the Office UK Christmas specials. Never give up. If you know, you know. Brings tears to my eyes. Yeah, I do know. Lee Berman. Oh yeah, I love the Christmas Office. I always watch the Gavin and Stacey Christmas special as well, the first one. That's brilliant. What else do I watch? I always watch Father Ted Christmas specials, brilliant. Quite like the Royal Family ones as well. Mark, here's a very unpopular opinion in Christmas movies. Home Alone is overrated, both 1 and 2. That is very, very overrated. That is very controversial, Stephen. I think Home Alone is a cracker. In fact, tomorrow night, because I haven't got my green screen, tomorrow night on United Stand, I will bring in my Home Alone Lego and show it you that me and Seb built last year. It took us about 2 weeks to build it, and it's a replica of the Home Alone house, and I'll open it up and show you. A Christmas Carol with Jim Carrey is a good watch, says Jonathan. Thank you. Never watched it. Please do subscribe to the channel, by the way, bottom right hand corner. Morocco, I've got about 15 minutes to do something here. I'm tell you what, after this, I'm definitely going to go and watch Fat Man or Family Man or The Holiday. I just don't know which. I like The Grinch. I've always liked The Grinch. Here we go. Come on. No, good tackle by Varane again. Of course it's Varane. Of course it's a good tackle by Varane. It's what he does. Christmas Carol with Sean Dyche. I've told you before, Bob. You're not having another lump of coal. Get some wood instead. Another sub from Morocco. It's a long road when you're on your own. Do 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 do. I tell you what, I've just given you a Christmas film. I did it on purpose. I wanted to know the song. It's a good Christmas film. I tell you, you watch this film tonight and you'll say, I've given you loads of good recommendations. Fat Man with Mel Gibson, definitely worth a watch. The Family Man with Nicolas Cage, if you actually can find it. And this one, it's a long road when you're on your own. That's the lyrics to the music that they use. Dun, 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 dun. Rambo, Teach United. Yeah, Rambo First Blood. Masterpiece of a film. Fucking brilliant. And definitely a Christmas film because it's set at Christmas. It's like the original Die Hard. Goal! Over! Finish it! It's not First Blood, it's Rambo Second Blood. And I think it's Taram, and it's all over. Absolutely all over. KD, I'm not going to tell you what Seb's getting for Christmas. It was Rambo First Blood, Hader. But it's France Second Blood. And it's 2-0. And I'm not talking urban. It is Second Blood. It's the second goal for France. And it's over. Over. Game over. I'm glad we spoke about Christmas films because game over. And it's a well constructed goal by France. There's a few little deflections, but they work it well. Actually, you know what? They do work it well. There's a little bit of a deflection, but if that doesn't deflect, it's a brilliant team goal from France. Yeah, it does deflect. Mbappe's not playing the cross. But up to that point, it's a goal. 2-0 to France. Game over. Definitely do watch Rambo, the first one. Second one's filmed, is set in Vietnam, but the first one is set in America and it's very Christmassy. Give it a watch. Told you Morocco this was going to be too far. And it is. Sha-la-la-la-la-la-la-la. Sha-la-la-la-la-la-la. La-la-la-la-la-la-la. Argentina versus France final, unless we get an epic last 10 minutes here. And Sika says, Mbappe was like a hot knife through butter. Oh, I tell you what, I am touching my ear a little bit. You don't want to know what happened to me today. You don't want to know. You do want to know, don't you? Oh, God. So basically, I have an ear problem. So basically, without being too crude, my right ear, it doesn't do what it should do. It doesn't retract the wax from your ear, so it builds up, and I'm meant to get it cleaned out every year with like syringe and everything like that on the NHS, the National Health Service, but because of COVID, everything got delayed, and then they lost my records or something. So I've not had it done for 4 years. So I went to get it done today, and it's painful at the best of times. But they were like, it's really hardened wax in your ear, and they were like, oh, it's just so brutal. It's so painful what they did. You don't need to worry about it. You don't need to do it. It's a condition I have, and yeah, I have to get it cleaned out. But it was like hardened. It was so painful. You're like there like that, and they're digging in to break it up, and then they've got this. The suction thing's horrible as well. It's like a vacuum in your ear, which is very loud. It's not tinnitus or whatever that is. No, it's I don't know what it is. It's just I think normal people, their earwax just comes out naturally, but in my right ear it doesn't. So it just builds up. So every year I have to get it cleaned, but it doesn't normally hurt much. But because I haven't done it for a while, and the sucky thing, I've just got that. I don't want to think about it. I don't know why I mentioned it. This is what did you just tune into, Swift? You tuned into the best community around football in the world, because we know how to watch a football match as a community the proper way. Only geeks sit listening to, oh, this is his 300th time he's played for this country in a blue shirt. Boring. Give us some real talk. What did you do last night? Imagine if the commentator on BBC said, yeah, well, this game's over, and me and Lee Dixon, which is actually ITV, we're off to a strip club. Well, I don't know about you. You will be. 4 pints and you'll be coming with me, Lee. Literally. People would love that sort of reality. Does it affect your hearing, Mark? No. Very interesting thing, TJ. I said that. Why doesn't it affect my hearing? And the specialist said, because you'll only stop hearing when 100% of your ear is blocked. And he said about 75% of your ear is blocked, so you can still hear fine. Sorry to hear it, Mark, says Shane P. United stand tonight? No, David, I'll do it in the morning. Mark, I had my ear syringed when I was 11. Today I'm 65 and I remember the acute pain till this day. It's not nice, Simon. It isn't nice. What's the worst pain I've had? I don't mind teeth because they give you the anaesthetic. Mark, do a poll, the 3rd or 4th place match or 2 episodes of Barnaby Jones, says Kenneth. We are doing a watch along for the 3rd and 4th place game. I'm not gonna build it up, but we are doing bloody Seb. Look, my OCD's just kicked in. I saw him playing with this one today. If you know, you know. If you know, you know. Yeah, we are doing the 3rd and 4th place game as a watch-along because we want to be able to say that we did every World Cup game as a watch-along. And if you don't do the 3rd and 4th place game, you didn't do every game as a watch-along, which I think is a huge achievement for all of you who've watched it throughout the World Cup. And certainly for everyone who's been involved in That's Football, in front of the camera and behind it, to be able to say we've done every game as a watch-along. And we ain't the BBC and we're not ITV or anything like that. It's great and I've really enjoyed it, so I hope you have as well. Even the moaning makes it good, because even the bad games or the boring games, we've spoken about Christmas films and dogs running into patio doors and stuff like that. Griezmann's been fantastic, Amiga. I've been really impressed with Griezmann. The only thing I would say about France is I think they've been really good in this tournament, but I'm worried about them in the final because the way they played against England and the way they played against Morocco, they've basically scored a goal and gone pragmatic. They're better than that, and it gives the opportunity. You know, Morocco should have scored, really. If they had better quality in the final third, I think they would have scored. England did have better quality and did score. I mean, all right, it was a penalty, but France invite chances. And when you've got Messi and Alvarez, I can't see them not scoring. So I think the final was interesting. I would say France are better than Argentina, but the way they play, they'll give you a chance. Brushing your teeth with warm water was a great chat. Yes. Yes, I've got another one of those. I need to bring Going for Goldbridge back. Cooking for Goldbridge is coming back. Definitely. Working on a few ideas. I need to come. Going for Goldbridge coming back. Got some really, actually, I mentioned on the United Stand, had a really interesting conversation with somebody today about some stuff for 2023, which would be great. Actually, I'm going to give you something here. This is going to make you laugh, and it's the truth, right? So on YouTube, you can do something called analytics, where you can check, how many people, what's the percentage of people who are based in the UK who watch your content, etc. Age demographics, all sorts of things. But on the UK thing, you can actually go into the UK and look at location by city, right? I'm not going to tell you. I'm not going to tell you where Manchester ranks because it will just cause uproar. But if I said to you, the top 4 cities that watch the United Stand are Manchester, London, Birmingham, and would it be London, Manchester, Birmingham? Who was 4? Yeah, you wouldn't believe who 4th is. In fact, I've got it on my phone. Let me just check this. You wouldn't believe who is 4th. Let me just say, this is God's honest truth. I just need to get the tweet up. Hilarious, this is. Okay, so London, Birmingham, Manchester. Okay, so fourth top United Stand city that watches the United Stand. You will never get it. You'll never get it. It's not Liverpool, although Liverpool was in the top 6, but I suppose you've got Everton. I couldn't believe it. The 4th most, the city with the people who watch the United Stand the most, the 4th. He's got it. I've just seen somebody. Jeff Knightley's got it. Leeds. Why? Why would Leeds be the 4th most viewed city for the United Stand? There's no other team in Leeds. Why would it be Leeds? It's true. It's the God's honest truth. It is true. It is true. And you know what? Do you want to know what the biggest? Right, the biggest. What I don't know whether you call them cities abroad. Do you want to know the biggest city that watches the United Stand outside of the UK? If anyone gets this, I'd be very impressed. So, a few people have got it. It is Dublin, which is obviously quite logical. I mean, I lived in Dublin for 3 years. People love me there, so obviously no. Manchester United's very popular there. But if you say it's not Dublin, who do you think it is after Dublin? It's not. I thought Delhi, somewhere like that might be. New York. It's not. It's not Paris. No, that wouldn't work. It's not New York. It's not Oslo. It's not Stockholm. It's not Kenya. Nope. Got it. There you go. Adrian, got it. Cape Town. Cape Town. South Africa. It's fascinating. I really found it interesting. I didn't even know you could do it. I knew you could do it based on country. I didn't know you could break down on city. So I was looking at it and I was going, somebody had asked me to do it for this project we're going to work on. And which gives you a bit of a hint about what it might be, because we had to find out something about a certain city. But fascinating. Fascinating stuff. So a lot of people in Cape Town watch the United Stand. I should do it on That's Football. I'm going to do it on That's Football now. We've still got 6 minutes. Thanks everyone who's been watching, by the way. Make sure you subscribe, bottom right hand corner. To be fair, a lot of people use VPN. TUS had a VPN sponsor, right? Says Catherine. I don't know where they get their data from. That's a good point. What am I going to watch? I might watch Fat Man. When are you coming to Cape Town, says Corinthian? Mate, when am I coming to Cape Town? When am I going to Melbourne? When am I going to Perth? When am I going to Sydney? When am I going to New York? When am I going to LA? When am I going to Delhi? There's loads of places I want to go. Goldbridge on tour. Have you been on safari in South Africa, says Stev? No. And what do you think about the Swedish national team, says Quacky? I think you've got some good players, but I was surprised you weren't in the World Cup. Sweden are a team I expect to be in there. I'll definitely be doing something in America next year because United, I'm pretty sure, are going to be on tour in the States. And I'm going to go this year. So I'll do some stuff in the States. And I want to go to the World Cup in 4 years' time as well. So I'll definitely be getting, God willing, I'll definitely be getting over there. But you know, United need to go and do a tour in South Africa again. They do. You ever miss us over here in Ireland? Every day, Ger. Every day. Every damn day. I remember one year I went to Dublin about 4 or 5 years ago, and I got a couple of friends there, and I went over there with the missus, and she met some friends, and we were staying in the same hotel, so she went out and I went out. And then at the end of the night, I walked my mates to the night link, and then I just walked. It was about 2 o'clock in the morning, and I had a few to drink, and I just walked around Dublin. Loved it. Just walked round. People might think that's a bit weird. Rachel says, who's the top viewers of United? That's football. We're going to run out of time here. France are going to win. Well done to France. You are the winners. I'm not surprised. I think it was too far for Morocco. In many ways, it's been very similar to the Croatia game. Possession has been more with Morocco like it was with Croatia, but they just haven't had the quality in the final third, unfortunately. And there's not a lot you can say about that other than that is the case. Okay, that's football. Cities. Wow, very different. Very different for... God, that's football's very different to United stands. Now. Cape Town's not even in the top 10. Really surprising here. I'll tell you what, if someone gets the second city in for That's Football, London's first. London's first, but if you can get the second city, second most viewed city for That's Football. So see if you can get that one. Oh, Amiga, you were very close. Jakarta is third. You were very close. No, fourth, Jakarta, actually. Man United is going to have a World Cup winner. So Surish, 100%. 100%. I'm glad this city won, actually. And there it is, the final. Morocco fall down onto the pitch. It's all over for Morocco. France, Argentina, final. France against Argentina in the final. And you can't really argue with it. You can't really argue with it. They've been a bit... France have been a bit dull. I've got to say, been a bit dull. They're a bit dull against England as well, but they're just getting the... Deschamps has gone into that get the job done mode, and I guarantee you, in some ways, I think Argentina scoring first on Sunday will make it a better final. I think if France score first, it's going to go the same way as the England game and the same way as the Morocco game, where France try and defend it out. You can have a moan. You can moan about France, but it's worked. They went 1-0 up ahead, 1-0 against France and England, and they won. They went 1-0 against Morocco, and they won. And I think if they score first against Argentina, they may well do it again. Nobody has got the second... I feel that I need to just read these comments again. So, if London is the most watched city for That's Football, what's the second city that watches That's Football the most in the world? And I haven't seen anybody get it, which I'm surprised, actually. It's not Oxford, surprisingly. They weren't even in the top 10 for United stand, which is interesting, because I think they have quite a lot of United fans there. Can't see it. Can't see it. There's loads of entries coming in. Got it. Someone's always going to get it. It's Andrew Belf who says Kuala Lumpur. There you go. Malaysia. Kuala Lumpur is the second city for That's Football. So London's the capital. That's the city with the most viewers for this channel. But Kuala Lumpur is second. Amazing, isn't it? Amazing. Leeds is quite high again. Either people in Leeds just have to watch me because they hate me, or actually secretly they quite like me. I don't know. Don't know what's going on there. What a weird dynamic having two centre-back partners in the World Cup final on opposing seeds, says Stephen. It's great. Absolutely brilliant. Just shows you what our best centre-back partnership is. Anyway, look, thanks everyone for watching. We will have the World Cup final for you on Sunday. We'll also have the third and fourth place kickoff playoff for you on Saturday night. And my FIFA career mode kicks in again tomorrow, so we'll start putting those highlights back up for you, and Football Manager. So Christmas is coming, football is coming back properly, got a World Cup final for you, and then we're straight back into the football that excites me the most. So I can't wait for it. So thanks everyone for tuning in today. I'm going to go and watch a Christmas film. You've got me in the spirit, and I will be back on the United stand tomorrow morning at 10 o'clock as well. Take care, everyone. Really enjoyed the stream with you. Hope you've enjoyed it as well. Fantastic community wherever you are. And I'll speak to you all in a bit.